Okay, let's unpack this. Did you know that between January and June of 2025, AI was responsible for 491 people losing their tech jobs every single day?
Yeah, that's not a future prediction. That's happening right now.
Exactly. It's not 2030 anymore.
No. When we talk about the future of work, that statistic is, well, it's the necessary cold shower, isn't it? The scale is just, it's huge. We've definitely hit an AI tipping point.
So the future's already here.
It really is, creating these massive real-time shifts, not just in jobs, but accountability, too, all over the world.
Right. So we're past the theory stage. We're into the urgent practical stuff now. And in this deep dive, we're not just, ringing alarm bells.
No.
We want to give you the 3 critical, maybe even shocking realities of AI right now. Hopefully you'll walk away knowing something specific about deepfakes, bias, global governance, stuff that, honestly, 99% of people probably don't know yet.
Our mission today is really focused on that. Understanding this pivotal moment, 2025, it's not just what AI is doing to the job market, but how these failures, in governance and algorithm design, how they're impacting life and death decisions.
And how everyone's scrambling to catch up.
Exactly. How jurisdictions are trying to figure this out.
We always hear that big optimistic number, right? 85 million jobs displaced, okay, but 97 million new roles will emerge, net positive, 12 million globally.
Yeah, that's the headline everyone clings to.
But does that number just mask the immediate kind of brutal disruption that's happening on the ground?
Oh, absolutely it does. I mean, that net gain, that's a long-term economic forecast, right?
Yeah.
Feels like pretty cold comfort if you're the software engineer who just got replaced.
Is there any evidence those new roles are actually accessible to the people losing their jobs now?
Well, based on what we're seeing in the source material, often, no. You mentioned the 491 daily job losses.
Yeah.
That was 77,999 tech jobs directly linked to AI.
Yeah.
Just in the first half of 2025.
And these weren't low-skill jobs. Microsoft cut 6,000 positions. Over 40% were software engineers.
Exactly. And look elsewhere. IBM cut 8,000 roles, heavily focused in HR.
HR, okay.
Yeah, which tells you something. The initial AI wave isn't just hitting the assembly line. It's hitting white-collar admin jobs and highly technical, repetitive coding tasks, too.
So this displacement of highly educated workers, it's causing a specific kind of shock.
A very immediate economic shock, yes.
Now, here's where it gets, I think, really interesting. If you want a glimpse of the future of AI adoption, you have to look at India.
Definitely. It's an acceleration hub, huge talent pool, highly skilled.
Right.
And that's the crucial context. India is embracing this AI-first era, just breakneck speed. They're prioritizing speed and scale. Something like 93% of businesses there intend to use AI agents.
But 93%?
Within the next 12 to 18 months to extend their workforce. And get this, 59% of leaders there are already using AI agents to automate entire team workflows.
Wow. So just dissolving small admin units almost overnight?
Pretty much. It shows you the speed you get when competitive advantage is the main driver.
Okay, so the financial disruption, the career disruption, it's global, it's fast. But the cost isn't just financial, it's fundamentally ethical too, isn't it? If job loss is the shock wave, then bias is maybe the ethical flaw, kind of rotting the foundations of these AI systems. Let's start with the highest stakes, healthcare.
Yeah, we are way past theory here.
Yeah.
Algorithmic bias isn't just academic anymore. It's a documented pattern. Discriminatory harm. Often subtle, but systemic.
How does that work?
What's fascinating and troubling is how these systems use data that looks neutral. Objective even, like historical patient healthcare spending.
Okay, seems logical. More spending, more need.
That's the assumption.
Right.
But it ends up reflecting and actually perpetuating existing societal injustice.
Right, and the effects? It's pretty chilling. There was a widely used commercial algorithm affecting over 200 million U.S. patients that significantly favored white patients when deciding who needed extra care.
This is so critical because it shows exactly how proxy bias works. The system wasn't programmed to be racist, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't explicit.
No.
But it was trained assuming high past spending meant high future need. And the result? The bias cut the number of Black patients identified for extra medical care by more than half.
Over 50%. Why?
Because it completely missed the systemic barriers, historical inequality. Black patients often have less access to care, lower spending records, even then their medical need is identical or even greater.
So it becomes this tragic, self-fulfilling prophecy baked into the code.
Exactly. Inequality embedded in the algorithm.
That's really disturbing. An algorithm basically prioritizing the privileged, penalizing the underserved. And it's not just healthcare, right? Think about getting a job
Yeah.
or the justice system.
Oh, definitely. Employment, too. Remember Amazon's AI recruiting tool?
Vaguely, yeah.
It didn't just ignore women applicants, it actively penalized them. Downgraded any resume with the word women's in it.
It has.
Because it learned from historical hiring data, which was overwhelmingly male.
Wow. And the justice system.
The Compass algorithm,
Yeah.
used to predict the likelihood of reoffending, it was found to predict twice as many false positives for recidivism,
False positives meaning?
meaning predicting someone will reoffend when they actually won't. It had twice as many false positives for black offenders, about 45%, compared to white offenders, around 23%.
So this raises a really deep, troubling question. If the algorithm's deciding your sentence or your mortgage or your job prospects, if they're built on biased history, can we actually trust the idea of impartial justice or meritocracy?
It's a fundamental challenge, and it shows up in subtle ways, too. Some AI models are rating natural black hairstyles, like braids, as less professional.
Seriously?
Yeah, it just shows how pervasive this training data problem really is. It seeps into everything.
Okay, let's pivot. From ethical rot to maybe security meltdown, because the deepfake crisis isn't some fringe threat anymore. It's immediate. It's a massive financial weapon now. Deepfake fraud surged. What was the number? Astonishing. 1,740% in North America.
1740%. Between 2022 and 2023. The jump in sophistication is just alarming, and the financial losses are not trivial.
No.
Verified fraud losses over $200 million. Just in the first quarter of 2025, we're absolutely facing a security crisis here, driven by this hyper-realistic generative AI designed specifically to bypass human trust.
And the most terrifying story, the one that makes it really tangible, the engineering firm AirUp, they lost, what, $25.5 million?
$25.5 million in a single deepfake video call.
What stands out about that case? It just seems unreal.
The sheer audacity. Every single person on that video conference call, except the victim, was an AI-generated deepfake.
Every person.
Every person. Perfectly impersonating the CFO, other colleagues, to get the victim to authorize fraudulent transfers.
So the victim had visual confirmation, voice confirmation from multiple trusted sources, supposedly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This kind of deception just bypasses all the standard organizational security. Anything based on visual or voice confirmation, it exploits our, innate psychological need to trust authority figures we see on a screen.
So if the fakes are that good, how are we doing at spotting them? We have smart tech. Surely we have great detection systems.
Right. We wish. Seriously. This is the definition of an asymmetric arms race. The tech making the fakes improves exponentially, like every month.
Okay.
While our current detection systems, they only reach about 65% success against the really advanced platforms.
55%. That's not great. And humans?
Humans, we're barely better than chance, hovering between, say, 55 and 60%.
So basically a coin flip. That lack of reliability in detection, that seems like the core crisis.
It is. Deepfake videos are increasing at something like 900% annually. Detection's lagging way behind. And think about this. 53% of people share their voices online every week.
Right. Social media videos.
Exactly. Giving criminals this endless, high-quality stream of training data to make their deception models even better.
That is profoundly unsettling.
Okay, so you combine the job disruption, the algorithmic bias, these existential fraud threats.
It all points to the third big problem you mentioned, the accountability gap.
Mm-hmm.
If an autonomous system causes harm, like a self-driving car crash, or an algorithm wrongly denying a loan, who do you actually sue? The developer, the data provider, the company using it.
Exactly. That's the crux of it. Traditional legal frameworks really struggle with this black box nature of modern AI.
Black box meaning we can't see inside.
Right. We often can't determine how the harm happened, which just frustrates the traditional ways of assigning legal liability, based on negligence or product defect. The responsibility is spread across so many layers, and many are opaque.
So how are places trying to fix this? I know the EU is usually pretty proactive on digital regulation.
They are, and they've responded pretty aggressively here. They've defined new legal territory.
Well, the EU's updated product liability directive is a really significant global move. It specifically includes AI systems, and it holds pretty much everyone in the supply chain liable.
Everyone? Like who?
Providers, developers, integrators, if their defective systems cause harm. And here's the crucial part. In complex AI cases, where the claimant, the person harmed, faces excessive difficulty proving how the AI failed, the legislation actually presumes defectiveness.
Wait, hang on. presumes defectiveness. Explain that. That sounds like it completely flips the usual legal standard.
It pretty much does. Normally, if your toaster catches fire, you have to prove the toaster was defective.
Right. Burden of proof is on me.
Under this EU law, if an AI system causes harm, and you, the claimant, have extreme difficulty figuring out why, because it's a black box, the liability often shifts.
Shifts to who?
To the provider or the company using the AI. They then have to prove the system was not defective, or that something else caused the harm. It reverses the burden of proof.
Wow. That is a massive game changer. For consumer protection, for corporate responsibility.
Absolutely.
Now, connecting this to the bigger picture, industry is also trying to define new roles, right? They can't just wait for governments. You mentioned the ITI framework, defining liability from the inside out.
Yeah, the IPI's AI accountability framework. It's trying to bring in necessary auditability, requiring organizations to keep detailed documentation, risk assessments, impact assessments.
Okay.
And it formalizes this idea of shared responsibility among three groups: developers, deployers, and a newly defined class, integrators.
Integrators. What exactly is an integrator here?
Think of it like this. A developer makes the big AI model, right? A large language model.
Got it.
The deployer is a company that uses it, say, a bank. But the integrator is the team inside the bank that takes that off-the-shelf model and customizes it. They feed it the bank's private internal data to automate loan decisions, for example.
Ah, so they tailor it.
Exactly. They tailor the system for a specific internal use. And now, under this kind of framework, they formally share the liability burden, along with the original developer and the deployer, the bank itself.
Okay, so accountability needs these legal frameworks, it needs industry frameworks, but it also needs an ethical blueprint, right? We've touched on bias, but let's nail down those core principles: fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy.
Right, and transparency really demands explainable AI, XAI. It's not enough just to monitor outputs. We have to be able to provide clear, understandable explanations for AI decisions, especially to the people affected.
So explain why the AI denied the loan, not just that it denied the loan.
Precisely. Transparency is about the why.
And fairness. How does that go beyond just fixing the bias we already know about?
Fairness really requires proactive auditing, not just reacting after some biased disaster hits the news.
Right.
It means actively checking the training data. Does it accurately reflect the real world? Then continuously auditing the models for hidden biases, proxy biases, before they ever go live. It's a shift from reactive fixing to proactive governance. That's key.
We have focused a lot on the disruption, the replacement. But the future isn't necessarily human versus machine, is it? It could be human-AI collaboration. We should touch on the optimistic potential, too.
Absolutely. There is deep optimism there. I mean, the transition is painful, no doubt. But nearly half of companies, 49%, actually expect AI to be a net job creator in the long run.
Okay.
And the roles seem pretty clear. Humans provide the context, the judgment, the ethical oversight, the things AI is inherently bad at.
And AI handle.
The AI handles the pattern recognition, the heavy data processing, the execution speed, the stuff humans are slow at.
Yeah.
It's about partnership.
Okay. Now, for our hidden bonus item, this sets up a massive global tension in governance. We just talked about the EU taking this comprehensive risk-based approach, banning unacceptable AI risks, reversing the burden of proof.
Very safety
Yes.
focused.
Guess what the U.S. did earlier this year, January 2025.
Yeah, the contrast couldn't be more stark, really. U.S. Executive Order 14179. It made a very deliberate, conscious decision. It actually revoked previous federal AI safety and ethics requirements.
Revoked them. Why? What was the goal there?
The priority shifted, almost entirely to competitive advantage. The U.S. deregulated specific ethical guidelines because they were seen as friction, hindering developers.
So speed over safety.
It was a clear signal, prioritizing innovation dominance, speed in the quote-unquote AI race, over immediate comprehensive safety rules. And this creates this huge global tension. Companies operating internationally now have to juggle the EU's safety-first compliance rules with the U.S.'s innovation-first, faster approach.
That really sums up the challenge of 2025, doesn't it? Okay, so we covered the speed of job disruption, especially hitting white-collar roles, the sheer severity of algorithmic bias in really sensitive areas like justice and healthcare, and this complex problem of accountability, contrasting the EU's tough liability rules with the U.S.'s rapid innovation-first strategy.
Yeah, and the path forward. It just requires constant vigilance
Yeah.
and a real commitment that technology should serve humanity, not the other way around. We need the technical solutions like getting deepfake detection up to, say, 94, 96% accuracy. That needs to become standard. And we have to demand auditability from every company deploying AI.
So the greatest innovation in this whole AI-driven future, it might not actually be the algorithms themselves, but
But the wisdom we demonstrate in governing them, that's really your homework. Thinking about that, where do you draw the line between pushing innovation forward and ensuring responsible governance? Especially when that line seems to move almost daily.
every insight definitely gets deeper on the second listen, so make sure you save this deep dive in your library. Next time, we're taking these concepts, bias, fraud, accountability, and applying them to the military and defense sectors. We'll be asking the ultimate ethical question: what happens when the AI is deciding who lives and who dies? You won't want to miss it.